Hey everybody, it's Tab from FreeFly, and I'm here with Eric, who's from the Astro team. He's going to help me out in demonstrating a few of the features of Astro today. I just want to start off with a brief history so people have some context. Well, I want to start off by saying this is the first webinar I've ever done. I'm more at home on Facebook or Instagram Live or Twitter, so if things go horribly wrong, I apologize in advance. We're still learning. So we started FreeFly in 2011 in the upstairs of my mom's garage. Things went well and we quickly expanded to the downstairs of my mom's garage, and we've been growing ever since. At first we were focused on drones for cinematography, and as our drones took off in that market, more and more people started using them for industrial and professional use cases. And that's how we find ourselves here with Astro, which is really our first integrated drone. I wanted to just show a photo of kind of where Hugh and I started out. So this is us flying this horrible single rotor contraption carrying a red Epic sometime probably around 2013, I'm guessing, in China. We were filming there for a month. So I really started off focused on cinematography for drones. I was super passionate about flying cameras. And it's been an amazing wild ride to get to where we're at with Astro from this flying hunk of junk. So, all right, and kind of a brief overview of how we're going to lay out the webinar. I'm really going to focus on hardware, and Lorenz is going to focus more on the software side of things, kind of where the company expertise and passions align. So we've got everything needed to operate an Astro in this backpack, and Eric's going to set it up, and I'm going to walk through the top 10 things I love about Astro. So you just pulled out your Link controller, integrated screen, integrated controls for everything. Super nice, small form factor. This is our new battery, SL8. So these are 21700 or 2170 cells, as some people call them, smart batteries. I'll talk more about that later. Astro just came out. As you can see, it's ultra tiny. So it's, I don't know, what would you compare the size of this thing to? A cowboy hat, like a medium-sized cowboy hat?
Maybe a 1 or 2 gallon cowboy hat.
1 or 2 gallon cowboy hat. I like it. All right, let's get it set up. So Eric just did the 4 folding booms. There's latches that are very similar to what you'd find on an Alta 6 or an Alta 8. The landing gear also has little latches and flexures, so they fold out. So we just went from a real tiny package to quite a bit bigger package. The reason there is we want big props, we want big disk area. One of the things we're ultra focused on is our kind of differentiator is the noise of our drones, the sound of our drones. If you've used Alta X or any of our newer drones, we have huge disk areas, try and bring the noise down as low as possible. So Eric just turned on the batteries or clicked them in. The battery mounting mechanism is actually just built right into the top rail of the aircraft. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and install the gimbal. So we've got an A7R4 with a 35mm lens fixed prime on there. This is kind of our mapping workhorse solution. So yeah, we're ready to fly. So if we were out in a safe place to fly, it would be as simple as turn on HereLink, turn this on, and off you go. Great. All right, thanks, Eric. I'm going to talk through some of the specific features that I really love on this. So folding booms. These are the same design folding booms, swan neck booms that we've used on Alta 6 and Alta 8 for a long time. Love these things. Allow you to get a super small package, super small fold down. They're ultra rigid. Everything's really beefy. We've had, you know, upwards of 100,000 flights on this style design at this point in our drones. So it's been really, really, really good. Folding landing gear, also love this. You know, it's nice that the drone folds this way and then folds this way so you can fit it in something really compact like a backpack. For most of my filming missions, I love being able to have a backpack. It's fantastic. Next thing I wanted to talk about that I love is just long flight times. So long flight times are a consequence of big prop, big disk area. So as you can see, 21-inch props on a relatively small drone, that turns into low average prop RPM, low noise. The tough side is when you have lower average prop RPM, you have to be really good at tuning both the motor controllers and the autopilot. So that's, you know, we spend a lot of time there. Also on the quiet front, we have field-oriented control motor drives, no 12, 16 kilohertz squealing on the motors, which is super nice. And then kind of as we get into the, you know, in this weather sealed tub is where all the action happens. There's an entirely new autopilot, which is a customized version of Auterion Skynode, which is probably the most complex autopilot we've ever put into a drone. Really excited about that. It offers all kinds of new connectivity that we haven't had in the past. LTE connectivity, so I'm sure Lorenz will dive way more into that. RTK, so we've got the latest U-Blox F9P RTK capable module in here. Nice max 10 helical. These type of antennas get really good GPS sky view off to the side, so that's super, super nice to have. And then if you use a base station, you're fully RTK enabled. Batteries, I'm very excited about batteries, so let's talk about that for a sec. So I wanted to give overview of batteries. So these are 21700 cells. These are all our new format batteries, will all be this style. So smart BMS will have open protocol, so other people can use these and get data off of them. So they've also got a nice little OLED screen. Let me put it where Daniel can see it. So you can get battery info such as voltage, data charge, number of cycles, that kind of thing. And then nice little feature we were able to shoehorn in, we have USB-C PD power output, so you can power your MacBook Pro or whatever accessories you might have. These batteries will also, a version of these batteries will also be available for Movi Pro soon, and if you wanted to use these on Movi Pro, you could. We'll also have a ground version of this battery for gimbals, but there will be a specific aircraft version which has higher power rating cells. Next thing to talk about is the gimbal quick release. You saw Eric click it in. It's a super nice little quick release that connects both data and power for the aircraft, which is really nice. And then the last thing I want to touch on that I really love was the Auterion suite. During development of this, having the Auterion suite connected constantly was fantastic. So we'd be out flying in the field doing tuning, adjusting parameters, and engineers would be getting flight logs minutes after the test pilots and myself got done flying. You could send messages and say, hey, I didn't like the way this felt. Can we dial this in? And the process of iteration, having all those logs and all that information centralized and communicating was just phenomenal. And I'm super excited to see what that will grow into as we build out kind of this data pipeline that can handle, not just logs, but images and videos and all kinds of things in the future. And then as far as what we're actually launching today, so we're launching 3 different kits. We're launching the very base kit, which is just the airframe, kind of the integrator kit, and we're pricing that at $79.95. We've got the developer kit, which is just the aircraft, the controller, batteries, and chargers at $99.95, and then the full Pro mapping kit, which is A7R4 plus lens, at $14,995. So, compared to our previous gear, we've definitely battled down pricing on this to try and make it accessible for more people. And then want to talk just quickly about payloads. Over the next year, we'll be introducing a variety of new payloads from, the WorkSwell wireless thermal camera, FLIR. This is our upcoming Wave camera, which is a continuous recording high-speed camera. There'll be an option for that. So the Astro team over the next year will be just developing and launching new payloads. How are we doing on time? Is that good? Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of an overview. I think I'll address anything people have with questions in a little bit. But I want to kick it over to Lorenz at Auterion now.
Thanks, Tab. That was an awesome introduction. And in terms of joint development, I think we're currently looking at a slight audio issue, but good. In terms of joint development, same thing here. We really enjoyed working with you on the product. It really felt as one big team. And in terms of having history in the drone industry, I think that's where Tab and I have a lot of mutual respect. Having been in the industry for pretty much over a decade, I started getting into it really because I wanted to do autonomous flight. And as I was doing that, the first problem I had to solve back in 2008, 2009 was to get an autopilot, because back then it didn't quite exist. And so I built one for my own purposes with a team of 14 students. We worked together day and night on that. And that led over the next couple of years into what you will commonly know today as Pixhawk. And I thought I was done with hardware, really focused on the PX4 open source project. And that is also what we're using as Auterion. But turns out that back in 2020, we're kind of back now in hardware with Skynode, and not as our core business. It is something we're doing as a reference platform to enable our partners, to enable FreeFly to move a lot faster building the product. And what's important, and we hear that very often, this is not a Pixhawk. This is not a better Pixhawk. It's like moving from an old Nokia phone to a smartphone. So suddenly you have something like a full smart product, and this box connects to the payload. We have the WorkSwell camera here and a Sony camera, the A7R4, and really they connect straight to each other, like literally, not of course on this table. And then you get full camera controls. So it's not anymore that you have like a hardwired triggering and it doesn't quite work. No, you get full camera controls. You can set white balancing on this camera. You can set exposure. You have, for the first time in the enterprise drone industry, a fully integrated solution, even though, yes, it is a third-party camera that is integrated and not sort of custom built for a drone. Same thing is true for this payload, which will be coming. It's a EO/IR camera for security or inspection applications. You have full camera controls. You get both video streams, thermal and visible light, into your integrated tablet. Now, what that means is we can enable a complete enterprise workflow. And what we mean with that is not that something you can already do today. You take the SD card out of the camera. I can do that now. And then you go to your laptop and you upload it into whatever software you're using. Now, it goes from the drone either straight to your ground station, so you're a lot faster, or since we have LTE on Skynode, these two antennas here, or 5G as it becomes available, you can actually go and do a full drone to cloud workflow. And that's something you can see in this picture, where you have software running on the drone, it connects to the Auterion cloud, and from there, you can connect to a number of services. We have, for example, a nice toy example with Dropbox, which is already incredibly useful. You hit the trigger on the camera, and you get the full image in the cloud pretty much right away. But you can go a lot more sophisticated, of course. You can import it into your 3D mapping engine. You can import the data straight into your asset management system, for example, for infrastructure, or any other custom workflow you want to build. And that will fundamentally change how you do business in the drone industry, in particular as 5G becomes available. And yes, you might not have 5G coverage everywhere, but the rules of the game are fundamentally changing, because now, even if you switch your drone on at your home base, the 5G connection might still be faster than your landline internet connection. And so really think what that means. It's a bit the same thing as back 15, 20 years ago, when people were wondering, like, why would I need an internet browser on my smartphone? I can do calls just fine. We're really entering that phase in the drone industry, and I think this integrated product on Astro is really exciting because of that. I did quickly hit on fleet management, so I'm not going to spend more time on the slides. Let's go straight into it. So Tab already mentioned that he found the Auterion suite extremely helpful during development. So what you see here is a dashboard of all the flights in our QA fleet in this case. So we're never showing customer data or partner data in a webinar. And you can also see just generally high-level operations, what flights were done. These were a couple other flights with VTOL testbed. And then it does more. It actually gives you the ability to launch simulations. So you can now go and you can start the simulation that actually allows you to do training or development on your desktop. And so this is, for example, here's something where I am connected right now to our cloud suite with Auterion Mission Control, the ground station that also runs on the tablet. And I can literally run a mission here in the cloud sim from my laptop. And that's incredibly helpful during development, or for training, or for testing your new survey workflow. So this is a survey mission that I've pre-planned. Can go back to the plan. This is how it looks like. So as you leverage your Astro for commercial operations, you now can actually, with the Auterion suite, rehearse everything, train everything, test your SDK, and then go into the field with all that confidence and knowledge that you already have. So that's super powerful. And then you can start like 10 simulations here. I started this one before the webinar. In terms of vehicles, you see what vehicles you have. In terms of flights, you can go, let's choose a random flight here from our high volume test pilot. His name is Niels. As you can see, we do some interesting patterns here. And you get, of course, a map and everything. That's like common base. Like, of course, you need that. But then we run analytics over the full system. So we also run analytics, for example, on the state estimation. And we look at vibration metrics. And so you can see in this flight, it's not red, it's just yellow. The vibration metrics are not optimal in this flight. And you can really go into the full plot. You can inspect it. You can also go into the raw data. As I'm going here, quickly advanced. You have lots of insights, CPU load, everything. Now, you might find, like, why do I care as an operator? And I think the quick answer is you probably shouldn't, because that's a job of free-flying us. But having all that knowledge about the system allows us jointly to render a much better service, to build a much more reliable product. And then if there is an issue, to get ahead of the game and to also potentially warn you, for example, if you have a loose prop. There's also more operations-focused, a compliance dashboard that allows you to export your flight logs, so no more logbooks, nothing, and you're 100% compliant. You can manage all of your users. And as an operator, you also get the latest versions of Auterion Mission Control for various platforms and the software upgrades for the vehicle. If you want to install them manually, you can do that automatically through the cloud already. So you get over-the-air software updates. So let me quickly switch back. We talked about fleet management. The other part that is really important is the SDK. The SDK that we're providing, Ground SDK and Air SDK, and of course the cloud, not to forget that, allow you to really leverage the openness of the FreeFly Astro. It's built for purpose, but it's also built on open standards. So you can run new payloads on the vehicle by writing your own software, which is extremely powerful. You can essentially build an app for Skynode and run it on Astro. You can connect with the Auterion cloud and with that use pre-established, simple-to-use design patterns, like, for example, taking images or uploading images. So that makes it extremely simple to build your own cloud workflow, because you don't need to sort of go onto the vehicle and start talking to the payload. And no, you can just connect to the cloud and ask for, like, hey, I want to have all images from this flight, or give me all the images that this system is producing. And then on the ground, you can build a custom app. And when we talk ground, we mean like the handheld controller or laptop, and really control the whole experience if you want that. So you can actually go in, and if you, for whatever reason, Auterion Mission Control is providing some baseline functionality, but if you are more opinionated, if you want to have a very specific mission, or you might have a really tight integration with your online cloud mapping system, as some companies have, you can really build the full workflow. And you can make it, instead of a couple buttons like here, where we give you the option for everything, a single button operation for your customer. Again, built for purpose, but built on an open platform. And we think that that approach, which is very similar to the general cloud server industry, but unheard of in the drone industry, is going to change this industry and the rules of the game fundamentally. Because now, for the first time, you have a truly open platform that allows you to build bespoke workflows without having to go all custom. And that is going to help everybody in this industry to be more efficient, safer, and operate at bigger scales. So I think we have prepared a number of questions. And we're just loading them up, so I can quickly look at them. We have a number of questions that were sent in earlier, but we also want to take questions that are live, so please put them in the QA session. Now, Tab and I are both live. Need to make sure we're not talking over each other. And then the first question, does each Astro... Yep. Sorry, I can hear you, Tab. And to my team, the questions just vanished. Yeah, okay, we're back in the game. Good. The first question, and I think that's a question to me probably, is does each Astro already come with access to the Auterion platform? So the answer is yes. And I can show you sort of a sneak peek of how that will look like. We're going to start with 3 tiers. We might be offering more tiers in the future. The basic tier you always have. So you are able to upgrade your vehicle. You are able to have sort of basic functionality. You can download the latest version of Auterion Mission Control. And that just comes with Astro. Now, what we're going to provide is a 1-month trial as you get the vehicle, where you get the full feature set. And that then leads into, as an operator, to have the option to either upgrade to Starter, which will give you fleet management, flight logs, and the operations dashboard if you need that, or to Business. And as we're establishing a completely new way of doing things in this industry, we're also interested, of course, in your feedback and to learn. And as every good software company, we will make more and more of the features available in general, but also available for free. So think of the Astro as sort of the Tesla of drones. So it keeps getting better. We will add features, and these tiers that allow you to optimize your operations will also grow. Good. The next question tab is, what are your supported payloads? And do you want to take that?
Yeah, I can definitely take that. So supported payloads for Astro. So all efforts on the FreeFly side right now are going towards A7R4 35mm, our pro mapping solution. We're working on other payloads in the background. FLIR works well. Wave, probably bring in a cheaper camera mapping solution for people that don't quite need the performance of the A7R4. And then we've got a small gimbal from Next Vision, which is like a small ultralight super zoom, kind of more tailored towards longer zoom,
government,
maybe public and defense operations. So that'll be coming down the pipeline too. Yeah. But A7R4 is our primary focus. And then kind of the cinematographer in me eventually wants to have the payload that I would love to have for filming, which could end up being something from Fuji, could end up being the A7 III. It really depends.
Cool. So I think there's one big obvious question tab. How much does the Astro cost?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So Astro packages that we're launching with, integrator package, which is just the airframe, $79.95. The base model, which is airframe, batteries, chargers, and a controller, $99.95. And then the full pro mapping kit, as you see it here today, with Astro, A7R4, gimbal, case, batteries, chargers, HearLink controller, everything is $14,995. So there's 3 packages that we're launching with today, and you can we have reservations open on our website. You can go there and reserve whatever package you want. No deposit fee or anything, and then we'll be shipping these in the last quarter of 2020.
Awesome. Good. Then the next question is, can I deploy my own app on the Astro? How does it work? So I guess that's one for me, maybe. So the basic functionality is bundled inside a Docker container. So if you're familiar with sort of the server industry, it's super easy. And it runs on the Auterion Air SDK, which is available for multiple languages, for example, Python, for example, C++. And that connects to the vehicle in a safe way. So it kind of provides an interface that, I mean, you can still program a wrong mission, but fundamentally, it allows you to only control things that will not make the drone drop out of the sky. And this means that we're greatly simplifying that workflow. You can also pull data from the payload. You can receive the video stream or load images. And that in total then allows you to, like, you could even do a complete workflow that connects straight to your cloud that allows you to fly a survey pattern or anything like that. So because this is new in this industry, this is a first, we really don't know what it will exactly look like, but we do think that offering that flexibility will be truly enabling. Good. The next question is for you, Tab. Single pilot camera operator. If someone wanted to use the platforms for cinematic applications under full manual control, is that possible?
Yeah, that is possible. Exactly how we'll execute that, I'm not exactly sure yet, but as you know, if you've used Movi Pro and our larger drones, we take kind of the fidelity of camera controls very seriously when it comes to cinematography. So We're kind of exploring a bunch of different routes to enable that for a future package on this with controlling via Movi controller, that kind of thing. So I don't know exactly how we'll do it, but you can rest assured that it will be dialed before we launch it.
Definitely. Awesome. Good. The next question is FreeFly's Astro plus Auterion flight controller acceptable to the DoD and other government agencies? So yes, absolutely. I would say it is designed as an enterprise product, but we have NDAA, that's sort of the legal background compliance, always in mind. There will be two options for this customer base in terms of ground controller. One that is commercial and one that is really completely vetted for NDAA compliance. We recommend that one. It's the SkyNav controller from Auterion. And together with Astro, with that bundle, you will be completely NDAA compliant. We have put great work, efforts into that. And we have in the past already interfaced with government customers. So please approach our team if you have questions around that. We certainly have you covered there. Next question. What are your plans on certification, both FreeFly and Auterion? I guess we will anyway work together. So we have already established a working relationship with the FAA on type certification. And so Astro will naturally go through that if there is customer demand for a type certified aircraft, which there probably is based on this question. So yes, we have done that before in the open source space as part of the Drone Code Foundation. So we have lots of experience with that process. And we are more than happy to also offer that for Astro, which, again, reach out to our team, and we can look at your timeline and exact needs. Next question is, what is the max flight time tab?
Okay, max flight time. So no payload, max flight time is 38 minutes. And then with the A7R4, we're getting just under 30 minutes. So these batteries are around 8 amp hour. I don't know which cells we're going to settle on in the end, but they're 6 cell, somewhere around 6 to 8 amp hour packs. So 38 minutes, no payload, 30 minutes A7R4 payload.
Good. Then there's a really good question for both of us, I guess. How does customer support work? So it's really clear this is a FreeFly product, and we as Auterion stand always completely behind FreeFly, but customer support, as you use from FreeFly, is fantastic. And with that, I hand over to Tab to describe how fantastic it is.
We try and make it fantastic. Yeah, so customer support will be similar to customer support for all of the products that we have in field. So we have a support team based in the US. They're just down below this area where I'm standing right now. And there's a team, majority of the team are drone experts. So they'll be there to back you up. And I think the thing that's most exciting looking forward for support on this is for customers that have connectivity on their Astro will be really connected to the data. So a lot of times in supporting super complex electromechanical assemblies like we build, there can be a lot of back and forth to get to the root cause of a specific problem. You can circumvent a lot of that and even preempt some of it when you have access to the type of data that Astro is pumping back presently. I mean, the engineering team can be proactively reviewing log files from customers and setting min-max thresholds to keep an eye on. And, you know, this is something we haven't had in the past. And I would say we've just built drones that were really tough, and we tested them really severely prior to now. But I think we're going to be able to evolve our process and have a more data-driven approach. You know, like the Alta 6 and Alta 8, those drones have over 100,000 unique flights on them, and they were able to achieve that, I think, just because we really, really tested them hard before releasing them. So I'm really excited to mix that kind of drone development and test philosophy with more data that this will provide. So that's really exciting.
Super cool. So I think there are two new questions. I will quickly take the first because the simple one. Are the images geotagged? The answer is yes. We always, of course, offer a complete geotag workflow. The next, for all of the cameras, the next question is how will the gimbal level with different lenses on the A7R4? So somebody really knows a lot about gimbals there, Tab.
The short answer on that one is lenses that are close in weight to this one should be fine. And then if there are other lenses that we do want to support in the future, we can either adjust the balance of the package a little bit or offer a different bracket. As you can see, it's the way we've designed the gimbal. There's a quick release, a dovetail quick release that the actual camera payload attaches to the gimbal. So this chunk can be custom made for a variety of different cameras. For example, we have a custom one for the FLIR, we have a custom one for the Workswell. So the philosophy there is we really want people to not have to spend a bunch of time fiddling and tuning and adjusting gimbal and understanding gains and PID controllers and filters and that kind of thing. So at the end state, it'll be as simple as pick your camera lens, attach it, and off you go.
Tab, I think you've kind of ruined all the fiddly fun on gimbals. So the next question is, what is the processor in Skynode?
Well, we will continue to develop high-end gimbals that are fiddly. Sorry,
so what is the next question is, what is the processor in Skynode? Can I add additional capacity? So the processor is a 1.8 gigahertz A53, ARM A53 quad core. So it's quite powerful. But if you need more compute, yes, you can have that. You have the ability to interface additional computers via USB or Ethernet. And FreeFly is also providing additional power outputs. I don't have sort of the numbers in my head, but generally, yes, additional payload computers are feasible on Astro. Good. In terms of additional questions, we're just seeing if we have more time for a few more. So I think there's another one. Will pilots have the ability to fly an autonomous mission? So if we can quickly switch back to my screen, what you can see here in Auterion Mission Control, that is the same application that you run on the tablet. And that gives you the complete sort of, it's a question what do you mean with autonomous missions exactly, but you can fly completely autonomously without a pilot, all sorts of missions. You can fly these survey patterns, you can fly you can fly a corridor scan or a structure scan. So there are a lot of autonomous pre-planned missions available. In terms of additional autonomy capabilities, like, for example, flying around obstacles, this is something that our technology in general can support. And I'm confident that if there's demand for it, that this will become something a future Astro variant will be offering. Good. I have one more question for Tab. What is the ingress protection level of the aircraft?
Sorry, I was just looking it up. Tested to IP43, so that's what we've tested to. One thing I forgot to show earlier that I thought I'd touch on too, there's this, I didn't want to leave out the person who designed this, but there's this cute little carry strap that can be attached also. So if you got to walk a long ways with your little baby drone, you can carry it a little bit easier.
Good. While you're showing that, there's a next question. Can the handheld RC be used to fly LTE? So essentially fly not over the integrated radio link, but a LTE connection. Given how it's architected, I'm pretty sure it can. You would need to connect LTE externally. What I will say, though, is the overall software architecture allows you to bring Astro online for remote control if you like that. And so you can just fly with a normal tablet or anything else remotely. And you just need to take care that if you want to have sticks on that tablet, you have an integration. So I think what's really important to understand about how we're doing things with FreeFly, that both companies are part of a larger ecosystem that is bigger than ourselves. So we could even bring additional third-party controllers into it because it is an open architecture. It is a lot easier to really, I wouldn't say tailor it to every single customer, but it's very extensible. So use cases that we might have not presented might be actually fairly easy to add and support in the future. Good. There's another question. Is there an obstacle avoidance sensor on the drone? The answer is, for this model at launch, the answer is no. But as I said earlier, the technology Skynode fundamentally is capable of that. And so it's just a matter of seeing if there is market demand for more automation. And you can go to the Auterion YouTube channel to look up videos of where we've demonstrated that in operation earlier, including avoiding different types of obstacles like both poles and trees and all sorts of things. So between the two companies, we have that capability. And without saying too much about next year, you can for sure assume that we will add more and more automation onto the system. Good. Then as we're getting more questions in, I think we're through it. I hope we have answered the prime ones that did repeat that we got earlier and in the live session. Thank you so much for watching. We're trying to keep this short and clear. Please refer to the product website of Astro, but I'll leave that to Tab for the outro. If you have questions around software capabilities, check out Auterion.com. Everything you find there is supported by Astro. And you can, of course, reach out either on the vehicle to FreeFly or to the Auterion Enterprise team if you have, for example, a specific workflow that you'd like to integrate. With that, for the closing remark, over to you, Tab.
Great. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I just wanted to say we'll be doing a bunch of Instagram lives over the next week where I'll take follow-up questions. I know there's some more questions that people didn't get answered on this webinar. Also, you can reach out via the Astro website to our team if you have specific use case questions, and also put reservations down there. On that front, supply chain around the world is a bit fractured and a bit difficult right now. So if we can get a good idea of how many of these things we need to build over the next year, that'll be super helpful for us. We're a small, completely self-funded company, so we have to be super accurate on our projections and then hit them. So that's one thing that people could do that would be extraordinarily helpful for us, is give us an idea of the demand that's coming up. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and get in touch if you have more questions. We'll start to, now that the cat's out of the bag, we'll start to show more involving Astro testing, crashing, flying, development, everything. So look forward to it.